So just moving away from the pattern set so far. Srila Prabhupada says that if you really want to feel you're small, you should understand how Krishna is great. Try and glorify Krishna, then you will know our real value. पुजारी को बोले कि अभी ऑल्टर खोल सकते हैं. Actually ये नियम नहीं है कि भगवान के सामने और किसी का गुणगान नहीं होना चाहिए. इसलिए मैंने I just asked the pujari to close the altar. It's not correct and on a very small condition. So, Baki, thank you very much to my heart, life and soul, my dear friend, my best friend for the last 17 years. Actually, the original plan was, there are three of us who are close friends, me, Moglila Prabhu and Sarvapriya Prabhu. The original plan was just the three of us will meet. I was not planning to meet all of you, but then I realized that I have a Saturday class, I should not skip it. So it was Moglila Prabhu's plan that whatever he does becomes famous, becomes big. So even if he stands in one corner quietly, then suddenly crowd will gather. So I think probably it was part of the planning of Pitambar Prabhu and he part of the marketing for the Saturday program that they call Moglila Prabhu. In any case, thank you very much. It's very privileged to have a friend like you in my life. And of course, our spiritual master Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He just called me on a video call and I missed the call, so that shows how stupid I am. So my request is that today we'll spend a little bit of time on starting the third chapter, which is Karma Yoga. Third chapter is Karma Yoga. We'll start with that. So in the second chapter, Krishna is told, Krishna tells Arjuna, Durena Hyabaram Karma Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya. Use your intelligence, Buddhi Yoga, and do away with the abominable activity of fighting. It's a bad thing to kill somebody. Abominable. Do away with that. Avaram. Varam means that which is good. Like Munivar, we say, no? So Varam. Varam means something that is sublime, elevated. Avaram means something that is inferior. So Durena ki avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Use your intelligence, buddhi yoga, and do away with this act. At the same time, he is telling Arjuna, fight. So Arjuna is confused. How can he say both? So this seems like mixed instruction. Raghuveer, Pujari ko bata do, you can open the altar. So this is the first shloka. Arjuna, we'll just cover the first shloka today because I'm also keen. I have not had a full meal today. I'm waiting for this celebration. No, I'm just joking. Arjuna uvacha Jayasi chet karmanaste Mata buddhir janardana Tatkim karmani ghore mam Niyojayasi keshava. Is the translation? Look, translation. No, generally I think others will. Just the translation.
Arjuna said, O Janardana, O Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work?
So that's the point. Buddhi Yoga is better than Sakama Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means to connect to the Supreme Lord. Yujyate iti yoga, that which connects. Karma means action. When it means to connect with Krishna is action, it is called Karma Yoga. But when it is mixed with a desire for some results, like Somar Vrat, you do Somar Vrat, you will get a good husband. You do this Falana Yajna, you will go to the heavenly planets, so on and so forth. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Shakali, Vishya Bhanda is mentioned. It is all like a golden pot full of poison. Even if it's a golden pot, if it's full of poison, it's poison, right? It doesn't make a difference that it has to be. So, this fruitive activity, some people fight to gain a kingdom or to go back to Viraswarga, not go back, to go to Viraswarga. All this is fruitive. There is a desire, fruit. You have some desire for some result, some kama. Kama means desire. Selfish desire. Atmendriya priti vacha tare valikam. Krishnendriya priti icha dhore premanam. Anything that you do for your own pleasure is called kama. Like we have people who tell us that I am so busy and it was both calm hai. This is what it means. They want to just fulfill their selfish desires. They can't come to the temple because it was both calm. So that is fruitive activity. You are expecting a certain result. But going beyond the fruitive activity is intelligence or intelligent work, which is buddhi yoga, work done with the superior intelligence for the pleasure of the supreme truth. So that is what is being discussed here. In this chapter, Krishna will establish to Arjuna that it is not important to give up one's activity. Please remember 2nd chapter 47th verse. Krishna tells him, Karmanya eva adhikaraste. You have right only to action. And then he says, Ma phaleshu kadachana. You can only work. You cannot be attached to the result of the. Okay, then Arjuna will say, why? I am the one who is doing all the work. Why should I not get the result? So Krishna says, Ma karma phalahe turbo. Because you are not the cause of the result of your activities, then how come you will get the results? ऐसी बात है, so I will not work. Arjuna sulks. So Krishna says, Mate sangost vakarmani. Don't be attached to inaction. You cannot be. You have to work anyway. You have to work anyway, but understand this possibility. I was just coining a small little poem this morning for something. It goes something like, don't be attached to the prize. Repeat after me. Don't be attached to the prize.
Don't be attached to the prize.
What is important is that one tries. That's all. Simple. That is karma yoga. The endeavor or the pursuit is more important than the capture. So let's read the purport. What purport says? You start with Kumara and then everyone can read 2 sentences each. Both of you read and then the mothers will read. Correction.
Chapter 3 text was
There's too much feedback.
Arjuna said, O Janardana.
Oh, that's all I read, but read the purport I told you.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, has very elaborately described the constitution of the soul in the previous chapter, with the view to delivering his intimate friend Arjuna from the ocean of material belief.
And the path of realization has been recommended, Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood to be inertia, and with such a misunderstanding, one withdraws to a secluded place to become fully Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of the Lord Krishna.
So I will just say a couple of things here. Srila Prabhupada said Vaishnavas are supposedly meant to be very cowardly and inactive. But Prabhupada said there were 2 great battles in the history of the world, and both were won by Vaishnavas. One is Ramayana, one is Battle of Kurukshetra. They were won by Vaishnavas. They were not won by the demons, the strong ones. No. And the next point that is mentioned here is that one may withdraw to a secluded place because one thinks that bhakti means I will sit in one place, I will not do anything. Shruti Smriti Purana Adi Pancharatri Vidindina Aikantiki Hare Bhakti Upataya Eva Kalpate. You may not go by the scriptures, you may not study the Gita, you may not study the Bhagavatam, you may do whatever. Shruti Smriti Purana. Shruti is directly the Vedas, Smriti is what is written based on the Shrutis, which is from memory, by these sages, the Rishis. And Puranas, there are others also. There are corollary histories of mankind. So this Shruti Smriti Purana, without these, if you try to do bhakti, it will cause mayhem. It will cause complete catastrophe or chaos. That is why it is mentioned, Utpate eva kalpate. So, one should not mistake bhakti to be inertia, not doing anything. Bhakti is the principle of the active principle of soul. The soul is the active principle of the body. Without the soul, the body will not be active. And bhakti is the activity that is most intrinsic to the soul, natural to the soul. Just like fluidity is to water and sweetness is to sugar. Mothers can read. Next line. Next 2 lines. Arjuna also thought of Krishna consciousness.
Without being trained in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, it is not advisable to chant the holy name of Krishna in a secluded place, where one may acquire only cheap revelation from the innocent Bhakti. Arjuna also thought of Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga or intelligence in spiritual advancement of knowledge as something like retirement from active life and a practice of penance and austerity at a secluded place.
Thank you. So like Amangla Prabhu was saying about the services that we have to do in ISKCON, all of us, we all have various kind of services. So sometimes we have to go out on the streets and chant Harinam to connect more people to Krishna consciousness. And sometimes we have to go to court or a police station to get legal work done for this society. Because ISKCON is not just a global Bhakti Yoga Sangha. It is also a public charitable trust registered under the Maharashtra Public Charitable Trust Act, 1860. So we have to do work. There was one motivation speaker who used to say something on these lines, which is paraphrasing it now. Devotees don't do different things. They just do things differently. It's the quality of the consciousness behind the activity that is different. This same mic can be used to espouse a political party's doctrine. But we are using this same mic to glorify the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. We can both be friends and do all kind of nonsense. Nobody can stop us. And a South Indian with a Punjabi consciousness and a Punjabi with a Punjabi consciousness. Very dangerous combination. We could have done many things together, right? But I still remember some of our early days in 2007 when we got together. Although both of us joined around the same time but at different places. I connected in Bombay in 2000, he connected with Delhi in 2000. Same year we joined. But we connected with each other, so to say, by each other's bad karma in 2006. And around 2007, His Grace Mohantabha Prabhu started the first Ashraya group. Some of you are there in Ashraya. Both of us were in the first group, and the secretary of the first group was supposed to come. I don't know if he'll come or not. The 3 of us have been together for the last 17 years as friends. And this is an important element of Krishna consciousness. Karma Yoga means you do all the same activities, but you connect it to Krishna. I still remember the days when we used to call each other in the morning and say, Prabhu, time for Mangalarati, get up. We used to call each other. He was working in a multinational firm, I was working in a newspaper, and Sarabhri Prabhu was working for Hyundai. We used to call each other up, wake us for Mangalarati. We used to do Mangalarati even when they were working outside. Many of us are doing, I know, Dayakaranga does, Ashivad does, Dinasundamada, Hare Krishna does, many of them Gopi Kangaroots does. So this is very, very important that we have relationships in our life that connect or help us connect to the Supreme Lord better. Otherwise, Bhagavad Bhakti Vihinasya Jati Japas Tapat Priya Pranasya Vadehasya Mandanam Lokaranjana. Without Krishna devotion service, anything you do, even pious activity, austerity, penance, they are useless. They are like decorating a dead body. So if Arjuna decides to not fight because he thinks it's ghastly warfare, abominable work, though Krishna wants him to do the same fight. What is it? Is it karma yoga or kama yoga? It is kama bhoga, not kama yoga. Yoga means you are connected to Krishna. Kama bhoga versus karma yoga. That is our challenge in life. I never realized it. It's turned out like that. So Arjuna is therefore saying that Arjuna is representing us. Please remember, Arjuna is like a bona fide conditioned soul. How does a conditioned soul, a soul who is conditioned by the rules of the material world, Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun, material nature, is conditioned by that. How does he behave? What is his aspiration? How does he want to connect to something higher? We all are confused many times, bewildered. So Arjuna is sort of presenting our case before the Supreme Lord. Like when you go to court also they say your lordships. That one is so meaningless. Right? Maybe this person will go out and be smoking a cigarette or something. You see your lordships. But if I say this in court, I am finished. You will contempt of court. But I just realized when you go to court, we have to go like this. We actually do that. Once I remember by mistake, one of my friends had some legal stuff. I was sitting in the court and suddenly the judge asked me, "Who are you with?" I said, "Matter of interest." "Get up!" I was just sitting and answering. Because I'm used to temple devotee, big man. So her lordships, she thought, "Get up!" "Yes, your lordship." "Sit down." That's the way it is, And do you know that, like in corporate offices, there is a VIP toilet for the managers and there is one for the normal hoi polloi or common man. But the judges follow it very, very judiciously. They follow seniority in going to the bathroom also. Very, very strict. I'm just thinking, devotional life, if you have this kind of spiritual hierarchy, you'll be like Goloka. So much respectful, everybody is respecting each other. The point I'm trying to say is, we may have a lot of material rules, norms. There are societies which have such high rules. There is a group called Freemasons. I don't know how many of you have heard of it. Freemasons is a group which is exclusive. Nobody will tell anybody there is a Freemason, but they know each other. It's like a closely guarded society. They seem to have some decent rules. They're connected somewhat to the, I think, I'm not sure whether it is the, what is that famous Christian denomination? They talk about how Jesus got married also. Mammon. No, Mammon is Mormon. Mammon is Satan, sorry. I was wondering, when did that happen? Ali must have really advanced. Mormons, the Mormons, they believe that Jesus got married also, some of them have that kind of philosophy. But there are very, very good society, they're very cultured people, very ethical. But they don't just stop at that, they also worship the Supreme Lord. That is important. So it is not necessary to be very organized and ethical if you're fully in Krishna consciousness. Because if you're in Krishna consciousness, all the qualities will manifest. Sarvaya gunaistasya samasakesura. And then you can do your activities because the karma that you're doing is connected to the Supreme. That is yoga. On the contrary, if we are performing a very, very organized, structured thing, if you watch the North Korean army march past, you see their military routines. You just see, go online, you can see. You will see there will not be space for a mosquito to enter them. They are so tightly packed when they march. Superb coordination. But that country is famously atheistic. If the president of the nation passes away and the newsreader doesn't cry, she's put in jail. So the human mind abhors a vacuum. If you don't put Krishna in it, you will find something else anyway. So it is our option whether we want to do Kama Bhoga or Karma Yoga. We have to connect anyway. If cricket is a religion, Sachin is God. Even I don't believe in religion, I'm spiritual. I had a colleague long back in England. She said, I don't think all this Gita is required. For me, spirituality means I water my plants. Very good. So we are just completely confused khichdi up here when it comes to Karma Yoga. Karma karo, phalki chanat karo. What is Gita? Karma karo, phalki chanat karo. It's slip on parrot. One of our famous jokes is when we used to corporate training together, we used to constantly say this, that Karma hi puja doesn't mean your wife is puja and you do karma for her. Then also he had to laugh because most of the people couldn't understand the joke. So, Karma hi puja, it really means that because your object of affection, like he was telling us on the way, then I think who was it? They tried to garland Amungli Prabhu. And he said, this is misdirected love. You're supposed to be the garland for Rishi Kumara Prabhu. So we have misdirected love. We have a misdirected civilization. Because we don't know whom to love. And that is because of the same thing, Kama Bhoga versus Karma Yoga. Therefore, we just retire from daily lives. What is that word? Arade Bhagavan tapasa tadakkim naraye haryati tapasa tadakkim antar haryati tapasa tadakkim nantar haryati tapasa tadakkim. If you worship the Supreme Lord, what is the need for any other austerity or penance? Arade yadi hari tapasa tadakkim. What is the need? Narade yadi tapasa tadakkim. If you are not worshipping Hari, what is the use of any other austerity? Andar Hari yadi tapasa tadakkim. Nantar Hari yadi tapasa tadakkim. If Hari is there inside, what is the use for anything else? And if there is no Hari, then what is the use of anything? So the point is, Karma Yoga assumes meaning not just because of karma. It becomes important because of yoga. So Krishna says, Ananya Shintayam Toma Yejana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Mahamyam Yadana. Zindagi ke saath bhi, zindagi ke baad bhi. This is not Yoga Kshemam. Yoga Kshemam is what Krishna provides. Acharyas say, in return for the yoga that devotees like you practice by approaching the Supreme Lord for His mercy, Krishna provides the Kshema. He provides the welfare. He carries what we lack and He carries what we have and provides what we lack. That's Krishna's mercy. So you don't need to be anybody to perform Krishna consciousness. But when you perform Krishna consciousness, you will not need to take any body. You will go back to Krishna. You won't need any body. You will just be a spiritual platform. Let's continue the purport.
In other words, we want to strictly avoid the fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse.
Yeah.
But as a sincere student, he is the matter before his master and question Krishna as to his best course of action. In answer, Lord Krishna elaborately explained Karma Yoga or work in Krishna consciousness in this version.
So the point is, people assume that Krishna consciousness meaning you go to a secluded place, go to the Himalayas, and stay away from everything else. During Srila Prabhupada's time, there was a devotee who said that I want to take a house in Mayapur, sit on a tree house, chant 64 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra every day, alone. So Srila Prabhupada initially discouraged him, then he agreed. So that person went, and he went. Because without devotee association, nobody can remain in Krishna consciousness. Bhaktishtu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena Parijayate. Devotion comes from devotees. Because Krishna will not give devotion. Krishna doesn't have devotion. Krishna is the object of devotion. It is the devotees who have the devotion. So they give the devotion. What is the meaning of the word Narada? One who gives Narayana is Narada. Jalada, cloud, means gives water. Narada, Narayana, gives Narayana. So, when we associate with such devotees and perform devotional service, that is Buddhi Yoga. Instead of artificially retiring to some place, premature retirement. There's one thing is voluntary retirement, but one is premature. This is condemned. Premature retirement is condemned. What is condoned is, however, that Sthane Sthitam Shruti Gadam Tanuvan Manobir Je Prayasa Ajita Jido Pyasitai Strilokyam. Brahmaji in the 10th canto prays to the Supreme Lord. And I conclude with this, that wherever we are, Jnane Prayasa Mudabhasya Namanta Eva Jivan Disan Mugarita Bhavadiya Varta Sthane Sthitam Shruti Gadam Tanuvan Manobir Ye Prayasa Ajita Jido Pyasitai Strilokyam. Don't get into fruitless pursuits of speculative knowledge. Jnane Prayasam. Instead, be humble. What do you do? Jivan Sanmugarita Bhavati Varta. Fill your life with the glorious glorification of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And how do you do that? Sthane Sthitam Shrutikadam. Wherever you are, be there. And if you do that, Grihe Kako, Mane Kako, Sata Hari Bole Dako. And then what happens? Ye Prayasa Ajita, Ajito Upasita is Trilokyam. One of the names of Krishna is Ajita. Apara, Ajita, Sarvasaha, Niyanda, Niyamo, Yama, one of the 1,000 names of Vishnu. And Ajita was a form of the Lord who appeared and helped the demigods during the churning of the Milky Ocean. Ajita. He was the one who sent a Sudarshana to cut off the head of Rahu. So Ajita means one who cannot be defeated. But he who cannot be defeated by the three worlds and in the three worlds can also be captured. Jita. How? Whichever position you are, be there and practice Krishna consciousness. 99% of ISKCON is today householders like you. 1% like a few of us. And householders doesn't mean you just hold your house. Householders means you understand that you have to hold Krishna in the house that is your heart. That's very important. It's always useful to have old friends around. They know when to clap. Otherwise, ISKCON devotees are very famous for this. Even if you tell them that, listen, this is Krishna, please say Hare Krishna. Oh yeah, I say every day in the altar. No surprise. You see, devotees are not surprised with anything. So sometimes we have to deliberately put strong and Krishna says Hari Bo. People will say that. You do emphasize the word, then people will say Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for a patient listening. I wish you a life full of karma yoga. Oh, I've been asked to stop talking. They don't ask questions, I keep quiet. I talk. Okay, question answers. Other than the menu today, I can answer any other question. Any questions on Karma Yoga on today's lecture? My Gurudev Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj says if people don't ask questions, it can mean two things. Either everybody has understood everything or nobody has understood anything. Questions, comments? He's asking this question on behalf of all of you. Like Arjuna is asking on behalf of all generations of people. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you firstly for this fabulous lecture. Although I have read Bhagavad Gita around 12 times, but today's lecture it took the understanding of Bhagavad Gita to the next level. So thank you very much, Rishi, for having
Outside Gita. Different level, away from Gita.
Thank you so much, Rohit, for this. And Rohit, like usually the very common question is that if we do not think of the result, then we are not enthusiastic to work as well. Although it is said that yes, you should work. But usually that is the impetus to do the work. The result, success, failure, profit. That's what drives us. But Krishna says not to think of it. Then what will drive the action? Why should I do my duty?
Yeah, thank you. So, if you go to the assembly line worker in Detroit who builds a car, he's not bothered about the propulsion of the car or the propel and the engine of the car. He's not bothered about what is the shock absorber. He's not bothered about there's a power steering. He's told you have to tighten the screw by this angle. He does that. He does that today, he does that today, the next second, he does that today, the next second, the next second, he does that repetitively. So Kaizen or operational efficiency, which we know in day-to-day management, is continuous improvement with zero defects. It is a myth that we think that result orientation is the core of our lives. Even corporates have realized long back, forget others, sages and rishis and munis, that continuous improvement, knowledge organization, why is it called a knowledge organization? It's not called just a profit organization. Why is there corporate social responsibility? Because today people are going away from results, or they are not restricting themselves to results. Results are an incidental fallout of process efficiency. Because if we have process efficiency with the right service attitude, we can succeed anywhere. The result will happen. People don't, you may not be a great achiever, but if you are a very good team player, you will grow in the organization. It's a fact. I know great achievers who have been sidelined for promotion because they are not good team players. Because then what happens is the result orientation leads to cutthroat competition, leads to envy, it leads to toxic lifestyle diseases because we are too result oriented. But then what happens is, so you are so used to success that you don't know how to handle failure. But when we are, I was recently hearing this famous short speech by Keshav Maharaj, one of my mentors, he says this point that we have to get used to this understanding that the definition of success needs to be relooked. Because what is happening is that we look at profit or bottom lines, for example, in an organization as success. We look at children going to Harvard as a success of marriage. We look at husband and wife not going to marriage counseling as a success of the marriage. We don't look at the fact that husband and wife might be struggling, but they are willing to make the marriage work. That is more important than actually the marriage working. Most of the people who go on dates, sorry, it's not a Vaishnava point. Most of the people who go on dates put in the best behavior. Why? Afterwards, they don't behave like that. The pursuit is often more attractive than the capture. Sometimes we feel after, who said this? Yeah, Alfred Ford, one of the science of the corporate world, he said, those of you who are after the world of riches and glory, I have something to tell you. I have been there and it's not worth it. So, what is more important is the fact that how well we are doing our performance in terms of efforts. The results are bound to happen, and if you ask any cricketer now, which is a fit, since we are talking about religion, I have to speak about cricket, right? So they say, one thing they always say is that the execution has to be good. Keep practicing, the execution has to be good. Because Muhammad Ali, who was a former world heavyweight professional boxing champion, super heavyweight boxing champion, he said if you want to spend less minutes in the ring without spilling blood, you have to spend more hours in practice by spilling sweat. So the work and the work ethic is now valued by most people. The results are definitely there. If successfully somebody executes the process and standard operating procedures of any organization, the organization will get the results. That will ensure going from good to great. Because good organizations make it good results. The great organizations are the ones who succeed even when there are not good results. So that means there are processes in place. When it comes to our day-to-day life, like I said, if you are only used to success and result orientation, the fact is, Krishna says in the 18th chapter, from Shloka, what are 5 factors of action? What is the verse number? We think that every action is determined by its result. So 5 factors of action, what is the verse number? There it is. Adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha pratakvitam vividasta pratakveshta daivam jaivatra panchamam. Text 14 of 18th chapter. The place of action, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. There are 5 factors of action. When we sing, when we think that ma karma phale hetu, when I am the cause of action, then we become result oriented. When we know, first of all, that we are not the cause of action, we don't own the result. Plus, not just we are factors, forget cause. There are other factors in the action also, like Coca-Cola has an X formula which is kept hidden somewhere, they used to say a long time. Now, of course, it must be copy training. So we don't know what is that X factor that leads to success. People are still struggling to find that one formula that will make you work in the corporate world. So many startups are struggling to start up. Why is that happening? Because there is no one success formula. Because there are 5 factors of action. So if any of these factors of the action are not appropriately contributing, you may not get the result. Therefore, if we focus excessively on the result, we may be disappointed. We have to look at the quality of the action, what are the factors of action, and how do we define success. Does it answer your question or complicated?
Yes, sir. Bonus.
Yes.
Probably what you just said actually is very much what we see in our day-to-day business. So there are 2 kinds of target, result target and effort targets. So if we focus more on result targets, they are never achieved. Till you don't set up the effort targets. And we see this day to day. If we have only result targets, it's people-driven company, and when the person resigns, even the numbers go down, and the company is actually, that person can also blackmail you.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't give me so much, I will resign. Because there's no process, not everybody. Probably I have a different question, connected to same thing, what you just said. Why do we say that phalena parichayate? Why do we say that?
Yeah. Phalena parichayate does not necessarily mean just the result, but the consciousness behind what you achieve. Even the result has a consciousness. Like there are many organizations which have millions of followers. But do all of them follow the principles of dharma? Do they follow the 4 pillars, the 4 actions? Satyam, Shaucham, Daya, the tapasya, they don't. So you may, which means there is no replicable success formula. You may get a very good result. It will not be recurrent. But when you have the right consciousness or the attitude, that will determine the altitude. When you have the right consciousness behind getting the result. Phalena parichayate. The bhala is what we have to see. Just saying at the end of it, I am the richest man on the planet, but I'm the most puffed up man and nobody wants to sit for dinner with me. That is not phalena parichaya. The parameters and the contours of phala have to be defined. What is the phala? Because when you set your target wrongly, you may achieve the phala. Actions are judged by the results. So which means, how do you define the action in consonance with the result and vice versa? Key result area for us is Krishna's result area, KRA, or Krishna's performance indicator, not necessarily Krishna's performance for Krishna, API.
Prabhuji, you just said 18 chapter 14 shloka. I think all venture capitalists and VC should read it because there is always about there is a timing to a startup. Which startup will do well? So what you just mentioned, I think they should focus on the shloka. And it's an amazing stuff that you're giving.
And we don't charge. See, this is Karma Yoga. We are giving a free corporate advice without charging. Yes, please. So for everyone's information, this is Dayagoran Das. He's done his MBA from London School of Economics. Very good man. Yeah, it is MBA from London School of Economics. Done his BTech from NIT, Kozhikode, and he's got his own startup. He's also a valuable contributor to this temple. This is Pitambar Das Prabhu. He's our coordinator for this class. As you know, he's a PhD and he teaches at GT Goenka. He teaches law there. Behind him is Ashirwad Prabhu. He's been a strong contributor for this yatras for at least 15-16 years. He's also from the IT industry. Dharat Dwarkadish is an IITian. He's also trying to contribute. And we have Veena Sudama Prabhu. He's our in charge for the Ashraya program. He's also from the IT industry. He's Allah Chilla, you see both of them. They're also there. They're also in the ocean. And then we have Hare Krishna Prabhu. He's a chartered accountant. His wife is also, she's an MBA. An MBA Finance, Swarnamay. You're an MBA Finance, right? Yeah, an MBA Finance. And they have 2 children. They are also in Bhakti. We have so many devotees here who are practicing Krishna consciousness. A family that prays together stays together. So, do not make a rocket science out of Karma Yoga. It is plain and simple day-to-day work. The only difference being Krishna's at the center.
My question is,
No time. I was told 10 minutes for Q&A by the coordinator. Ask.
so my question is out of the class. Okay, when we go for preaching and when we see that there are 2 sets of devotional mindsets, you see that both are serving, but the coordination between the 2 is missing. So you know that both the sets are working, they are serving now, and they are just not serving together. That's the reason that services suffer, and you know that preaching is getting hampered. So then you have the responsibility to look after. So how do you, as a responsible person, look after this?
Preaching is being done by Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. We are merely instruments. We are just try our best. Karmanyeva Adhikarasya Mahabalesha Kadachana. If there is any difference in our preaching strategy or a difference in our service to Krishna, Prabhupada himself says that difference is to be seen as purely spiritual. There will be, even in the spiritual world, there is disagreement between Radharani and Chandravali. There will be different, because we are different souls, there will be differences. The idea is to find a common ground, which is called samanvaya or synthesis. That is required. And there is no magic wand. People have to just sit down and talk, keep talking. What is the success of an Indian marriage? I know it is a myth these days, but originally the Indian marriage was a success because Dambati kalahas cheva bambarambe ladu priya. It will start with all boo and then it will whimper down. It will start with a bang, end with a whimper. People will continue. People will fight for 50 years and stay together. That's it. Why? Because why does the family fight? Why does the family that fight together still stay together? Why? Because they have a common goal that we have a service of bringing up these children, we have to make them grow, become responsible citizens, etc. Quite similarly, when in Krishna consciousness, there will be differences. We have to keep sitting and talking, and we should try and increase the preaching, because two people may be fighting, but both of them may still be preaching. So still you are increasing the superset. The number of people is increasing. And the quality behind the service can be improved by various spiritual inputs. We need association of each other hanging together. Like good devotees come and give lectures. Good devotees come and spend time with the devotees. They have prasadam, they serve. Good friendships to demonstrate how to stay together. One of the important benefits of Maula group coming today is to just demonstrate to you that you need good friends in Krishna consciousness. You cannot be alone. I would not have been happy with today's celebrations if he had not been there. In fact, who do we have in our family once we have joined the temple as monks? We only have friends and our spiritual master, who is our best friend. And for both of us, our best friend is our spiritual master, and we have each other to work with. Quite similarly, so it's not that we have not fought. He has insulted me in public 2-3 times. Right? And I have insulted him some 20-30 times. Because actually between the two of us, he's more humble. So he's insulted me only 2-3 times. I have insulted him several times. But he still tolerates. We both tolerate each other. Prabhupada said, tolerate him like I tolerate you. So that's it. There's no option. Keep tolerating, and yes, when things really go out of hand, we can teach, we can seek intervention from superior spiritual authorities. There's an ISKCON law which has a clear hierarchy of escalation of grievances. We can escalate grievances appropriately. So there is no rocket science. And please remember, in Kali Yuga, who is the biggest challenge to Kali? It is the devotees, because they're preaching Sankirtan. So how will Kali enter the community of devotees? You ask me a question, listen to the answer. How will Kali enter the community of devotees? Through quarrel and hypocrisy. That's the way he will enter. And so we should consciously pray to the Lord and resist the temptation by performing Sankirtan. By performing Sankirtan together, by having prasadam together, by following the 6 loving exchanges, we can improve relationship with each other. And then gradually philosophy can come in. First is the loving exchanges. Working, strategy, preaching, goals, everything comes later. First try to improve the relationship between devotees. Start.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Guruji.
Mother, you have a question, but you'll have to wait.
Motherji, can you take this question next week or on the group? You can post and we can answer on the group. After that class. Okay. So we have good celebrations reason here. I think all of you are waiting for those reasons. So we do not have just one reason, we have 2 reasons to celebrate. So we have a very, very big personality among us, and I would like to call him His Grace Amir. We are so happy.